Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into work-life balance.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It really is, and it's something that I think a lot of us struggle with, especially, in today's world where we're constantly connected to our devices, and it feels like the lines between work and personal life are becoming more and more blurred.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited to kind of dig into this topic today.
Me too.
And hopefully offer some practical tips and insights that our listeners can actually use.
Yeah. When we think about work-life balance, it's really not about just dividing your hours equally between work and everything else. It's more about finding that sense of fulfillment and energy in both areas of your life.
Yeah.
And when that work stress starts to kind of creep into your personal life, it can really impact your well-being. We're talking about things like anxiety, maybe feeling a little bit down or even burnout. So it's really important to make sure that we're prioritizing things like relaxation, exercise, healthy eating, all those things that contribute to our overall well-being.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it can be hard to even recognize the signs when things are starting to get out of balance.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what are some of the red flags that we should be looking out for?
Well, I think you can think of it like a domino effect. When your work-life balance is off, it can trigger kind of a chain reaction in different areas of your life. So you might start to see a dip in your work performance. You might feel constantly overwhelmed, get irritated easily.
Right.
Maybe physically, you could be experiencing headaches or having trouble sleeping. Even digestive issues can be related. And then mentally, you might find it harder to concentrate.
Right.
Maybe feeling detached from things that you used to enjoy, or even experiencing, feelings of sadness.
Wow.
The key is to really catch these signs early on, before they escalate into something more serious.
So we've talked about the importance of work-life balance. We've talked about some of the warning signs to look out for. But how do we actually achieve this elusive balance? It feels like everyone's searching for that magic formula.
Yeah.
So let's start with setting boundaries, something I know is really important.
Absolutely. Setting clear boundaries between work and personal life is crucial. It's almost like drawing a line in the sand. And having those designated work hours is a great first step. And then when you're off the clock, turning off those work notifications, trust me, those emails can wait.
They can wait.
And as much as possible, avoid bringing work home with you.
Yeah.
Because you need that time and space to recharge and, really be present in your personal life.
Creating tech-free zones in my home has been a game changer for me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, our dinner table is strictly for family time.
Yeah.
No phones allowed.
I love that.
It really helps us connect and just kind of be present with each other.
That's a fantastic example. It actually brings us to another essential element, which is time management.
Right.
Prioritizing your tasks, setting those realistic goals, and using tools like calendars, to-do lists can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Have you ever experimented with calendar blocking or the 80-20 rule?
I've dabbled in both, and they've honestly been so helpful.
Yeah.
The calendar blocking helps me visualize my day.
Yeah.
I can allocate specific chunks of time for different tasks.
Yeah.
And the 80-20 rule, oh my gosh, that one was a revelation for me because it really just reminds me to focus my energy on those activities that yield the biggest results.
Right.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. It's about maximizing your impact without burning yourself out.
Right.
And speaking of preventing burnout, let's not forget about self-care.
Oh, yes.
And this isn't just about, spa treatments or bubble baths.
Right.
It's about consciously incorporating activities into your routine that bring you joy, relaxation, a sense of rejuvenation.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And that could be anything from, taking short breaks throughout the day just to move your body or step away from your desk.
Sure.
To, planning a vacation, indulging in a favorite hobby, spending quality time with loved ones, practicing mindfulness, even just getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
It's about making time for yourself to recharge those batteries.
Absolutely. And, another thing to consider is the role that employers play in fostering a supportive work environment.
Right.
Imagine a workplace where policies and practices actually promote well-being.
Yeah.
So things like flexible work arrangements, access to childcare facilities, employee wellness programs, and a culture that truly values employee well-being.
Yeah.
These can be game changers.
Yeah.
You know?
I've definitely seen firsthand how a positive work environment can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
Things like designated quiet spaces, gym facilities, and even just initiatives that promote overall health and well-being.
Okay.
It can really have a positive impact on employee morale. Makes people feel valued and appreciated.
Absolutely. It's about creating a culture where employees feel supported and empowered to prioritize their well-being. And it's not just about perks. It's really a fundamental shift in mindset.
Yeah.
And, this kind of brings us to an important question. What about unplugging and taking vacations?
Yes.
It's not a luxury. It's really an essential part of maintaining that work-life balance.
I am a huge advocate for vacations.
Good.
Completely disconnecting from work, even for short periods, is so restorative.
Yeah.
It gives you that chance to recharge and, come back feeling refreshed and motivated and ready to tackle new challenges.
And think about the ripple effect, right? When you're well rested, you're bringing your best self to work.
Right.
It benefits you, your colleagues, and you have more energy and enthusiasm for your personal life as well. So it's a win-win.
It is. It is. And incorporating things like connecting with nature, maybe exploring hobbies, spending quality time with loved ones during those breaks, you can really kind of amplify that restorative power of vacations.
Absolutely. It's about stepping away from the screen, immersing yourself in those experiences that bring you joy, help you reconnect with what truly matters.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the importance of work-life balance, recognizing the signs of imbalance. We've explored practical strategies for setting boundaries, managing time effectively, prioritizing self-care. We even delved into the role that employers play and the importance of unplugging and taking vacations.
Yeah. It's been a really great discussion. I hope our listeners are finding this helpful, because work-life balance isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. It's about finding what works best for you.
Right.
And being willing to make those adjustments along the way as your life evolves.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a question. What resonated most with you today? And more importantly, what's one small step you can take starting today to kind of nudge yourself towards a more balanced and fulfilling life?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Keep that question in mind as we continue our exploration in part 2.
It is a good one to think about. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and forget to prioritize ourselves.
Right.
But, as we've been talking about, finding the balance isn't about checking things off a list.
Right.
It's about really creating a lifestyle that nourishes your mind, body, and spirit.
I love that. Nourishing your mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful way to look at it.
Yeah. And it's an ongoing journey.
Yeah.
It's not a destination. And, as our lives change, our needs and priorities also change.
Right.
So what worked for you, maybe a year ago might not be as effective now. So it's really important to be flexible, adaptable,
Yeah.
constantly reassessing and making adjustments.
That is such a good reminder. Life is always throwing curveballs.
Yeah.
Right? So, the way we approach work-life balance needs to kind of ebb and flow as well.
Absolutely.
It's not about finding some perfect state of equilibrium and just staying there.
Exactly.
It's about finding that sweet spot, knowing that it might change, and being ready to adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also important to give yourself a little grace.
Yes.
There are going to be days where you feel like you're walking it, and other days when you just feel like you're barely hanging on.
Oh, yeah.
And that's okay. The important thing is to just keep coming back to these core principles that we're talking about.
Yeah, it's like learning to ride a bike. You're going to wobble. You might even fall a few times, but you get back up, keep practicing.
Right.
Eventually it becomes second nature. You find your balance, you gain confidence, and then you can enjoy the ride.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And just like riding a bike, finding that work-life balance takes practice.
It does.
Patience and that willingness to keep learning and growing.
Yeah.
It's not always easy, but the rewards are definitely worth it.
They are. It's an investment
Yes.
in yourself, your happiness, your well-being. And I think, when you prioritize your own well-being, everyone around you benefits.
Oh, for sure.
You show up as a better version of yourself, at work, at home, every aspect of your life.
Speaking of showing up, let's talk about the importance of communication.
Yes.
We touched on this a little bit earlier when we were talking about setting boundaries with colleagues and employers.
Right.
But it's also important with our loved ones.
Oh, that's a good point. Because it's easy to assume that they understand what we're going through.
Right.
But taking the time to really communicate our needs challenges expectations.
Yes.
It can make a world of difference.
It really can.
It helps prevent misunderstandings, resentment, those feelings of being neglected.
Absolutely. It's about having those open and honest conversations.
Yeah.
Letting your loved ones know when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you need support, when you need time to yourself to recharge. And remember, communication is a two-way street. So, being open to listening to their needs and perspectives as well.
Right. It's about creating a sense of partnership and teamwork.
Yeah.
Both at work and at home.
Exactly.
We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And we all need support to thrive.
And speaking of support, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Oh, yeah.
Whether that's delegating tasks at work, enlisting the help of family or friends with childcare or household chores, or even seeking professional guidance.
Yes.
From a therapist or counselor. There are resources available.
Absolutely.
To help navigate these challenges.
There's no shame in asking for help.
No, not at all.
It's a sign of strength.
Yeah.
It shows you're committed to your well-being. You're willing to do what it takes to create a life that feels balanced and fulfilling.
It really is a reminder that we don't have to do it all alone.
Yeah.
We all have different strengths and weaknesses. And by leaning on each other, we can create a more supportive environment for everyone.
It's about building a community.
Yes.
Whether that's with colleagues, friends, family, or even professionals.
Right.
And recognizing that we all have something valuable to contribute, even when we're feeling overwhelmed or out of balance.
That's a great point. And this brings us to another important aspect, which is self-reflection.
Yes.
Taking the time to check in with yourself regularly can help you identify what's working, what's not working, and what adjustments you might need to make.
Self-reflection is so powerful. It's like hitting the pause button on autopilot and taking a moment to really just tune in to your thoughts, your feelings, your needs. It's asking yourself those hard questions.
Yes.
Am I happy? Do I feel fulfilled? What brings me joy? What drains my energy? And the answers to these questions can really provide some amazing insights into, what changes you might need to make to create a life that feels aligned with your values.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of your well-being.
Yes.
And making conscious choices that support your overall happiness and fulfillment. And remember, self-reflection is an ongoing practice. As you evolve and grow, your needs and priorities will also change. So make it a regular part of your routine.
It's like checking the map on a road trip.
Yes.
Sometimes you need to adjust your route along the way.
Yeah.
Account for unexpected detours or, to discover new destinations.
What a great analogy.
Yeah.
Life is full of twists and turns.
It is.
The key is to be flexible, adaptable, and open to those new experiences.
Yeah.
And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination.
It is. It's about embracing that journey with all of its ups and downs. It's about learning from mistakes, celebrating successes, and constantly striving to create a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
And speaking of meaningful, let's delve into the concept of purpose.
Yes.
Finding and pursuing your purpose can be a really powerful driver of work-life balance.
Okay.
When you feel connected to something bigger than yourself, it can give more meaning to your work.
Yeah.
And make it feel less like a chore and more like a calling.
I love that because when you have a sense of purpose, it gives you a renewed sense of energy and motivation.
Right.
It helps you prioritize what's really important and kind of let go of the things that no longer serve you. It can even inspire those around you to do the same.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where your passions, your talents, your values kind of intersect with the needs of the world. And recognizing that your purpose can evolve over time. So be open to exploring new avenues, taking risks, following your heart.
That's such a great message. And it's a reminder that work-life balance isn't just about finding time for, leisure activities or whatever.
Right.
It's about creating a life that feels aligned with your values, with your aspirations.
Absolutely. It's about living a life that feels authentic and fulfilling, both personally and professionally.
Yes.
And making choices that support your overall well-being.
Beautifully said. So as we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, I want to encourage you to reflect on your own sense of purpose. What lights you up? What are you passionate about? How can you infuse your work with more meaning and purpose?
Yeah.
Think about that as we head into the final part of our exploration.
Those are great questions to consider. And remember, your purpose doesn't have to be something grand or world-changing.
Right.
It can be as simple as, bringing joy to others, making a difference in your community,
Right.
or pursuing a passion that just lights you up.
Yeah, it's about finding what makes you feel alive
Yes,
and weaving that into, all areas of your life.
exactly.
Work and outside of work.
Yeah.
Creating a life that feels, meaningful and purposeful and reflects your unique gifts and talents.
And, it's about recognizing that work-life balance isn't a static thing.
Right.
It's this dynamic interplay between different parts of our lives. And it requires us being attentive,
Yes.
to adjust as we kind of move through life with all its demands, distractions.
Right.
It's easy to lose sight of what matters.
It is. It's like, we're juggling a dozen flaming torches while riding a unicycle on a tightrope.
Yeah,
It can feel overwhelming.
it can.
But I think, as we've talked about in this deep dive, there are strategies and tools that we can all use
Absolutely.
to simplify, prioritize, and create a sense of harmony amidst, the chaos of it all.
It all starts with, just that awareness, recognizing the signs of imbalance, understanding your own needs, limits,
Right.
being mindful of the choices you make every day.
And being kind to yourself through the process.
Oh, for sure.
We all have those moments where we feel like we're failing.
Yeah.
This whole work-life balance thing. So, instead of beating yourself up, give yourself grace, learn from mistakes, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward.
Progress, not perfection, is key.
Yes.
It's about those small, sustainable changes over time
Right.
that are in line with your values and, that support your well-being.
It's about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
where you feel energized and fulfilled
Mm-hmm.
in both your work life and your personal life.
Yeah.
And, recognizing that sweet spot will probably change as life goes on.
It's a great point. Work-life balance is a journey. It's not a destination. It's a process of self-discovery, growth, and adaptation. And it's a journey worth taking.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into work-life balance, I want to leave you with this. What will you do today to nurture your own well-being? What will you do to create a life that feels more balanced and more fulfilling?
It's a good question. Even small steps can make a big difference. Choose one thing that spoke to you today and commit to making it a part of your routine.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into work-life balance.
Thank you.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're all in this together. We're all striving to create a world where work and life can coexist harmoniously. A world where we can thrive, both personally and professionally.
Until next time, keep exploring,
Yes.
keep growing, and keep striving for that sweet spot. The one that brings you joy, balance, and a sense of fulfillment.